Class number 7, let's combine some of these elements using some of the typography, some imagery. I want to use some camera raw filters. I feel like the other one was photo manipulation, where it's like adding various different elements to one. But this one, I want to bring in that collage aesthetic for this. And then I'm going to show you guys how to prepare you guys' files, how to export, because there's a few different ways to export. When we're combining all these elements into a cohesive design, I want to take into account the process. It's going to be a lot of trial and there's a lot of error. It's a lot of playing around with things to get it to work for what you are trying to achieve. Creating a successful album cover requires harmony between the typography, the pictures that you use, and all of the colors. So how can we achieve this look? We can achieve this look by making sure we have balance to ensure all the elements are well balanced and complement each other. We can do this by using good contrast, using contrast to highlight important elements within the cover art itself to create some sort of visual interest. Next, let's try to use a lot of unity in this by maintaining a consistent style and theme throughout the design. Once again, I'm telling you guys, I'm doing like a collage style theme. I want to be able to create different styles of cover arts within this one, but to keep it on theme for all the cover arts, I'm pretty much going to do the same style. And then through the walkthrough tutorials, if you're still subscribed, I'll put and start adding different styles like grunge style, vintage style. But for this particular course, I want to keep it within this photo manipulation because this is pretty much why you guys are even in this course to begin with. I already collected some of the images that I want to use for this particular piece. It's some photos I took of one of my artists, Kino Piff. We're going to create a fake album cover for Kino. We're going to name it Be Cool because he did have a song with Babyface Ray called Be Cool. I shot the music video, so I figured let's go back, double back, and create a cover art for that song. Like with every part, when I get to the cover art part, I try not to have my face on there so you guys don't get distracted. I feel like you see my face enough through this. I just want you guys to focus on just the cover art in general. Particular one, I'm gonna use this one, and then I'm gonna use this one. I have a sketch in my mind. I did not write a sketch out. We're just gonna go ahead and start it up. First things first, I just wanna lay out the images. I don't necessarily wanna start adding too many effects and stuff to this. Let's go ahead and just remove the background of this image. That was a good clean cut, just using straight up the AI. So here, stretch this out, use the rectangle tool. I want to select all the way up until like his hands right here. We can just go ahead and paint this in, reset your colors if you need to. Start going ahead and just erasing that, just masking it out. Go ahead and make it bigger. I want this one in the middle because I want him looking over the city. He's from Detroit, so I feel like that might be cool. We're gonna probably just definitely get rid of the phone. Let me go ahead and try to mask out the phone. Phone, done. Let's go ahead and add in our main piece. We're gonna name this Kino 2, name this Kino 1. Same thing, we wanna remove this background, but it might remove the car too. But we want the car, but this is a good selection. Add back in the car, go back in, and then just start adding back to the mask using white to get the car back. And we want the whole car all the way up until there ain't no more car left. There we go. Now we just gotta make sure we remove everything from the car by starting a mask. Now you can use the pen tool or the polygon tool. For this one, I'm gonna just use the polygon tool because it's a pretty straightforward shape. It's not like too intricate where it's like I have to be going in and out of certain lines. Go ahead and press and hold space. That will bring up this hand tool. I know my shortcuts by now. You guys should be knowing your shortcuts in some sort of capacity. Let's make a selection, close off our selection, use the tool, make sure you're painting the black on to erase that. Let's go ahead and erase it. Let's make another selection using the polygon tool again. Go ahead, close off that selection. We have like a rough cut of him. We gotta get this right over here. Press X to erase. We gotta get rid of this little extra pieces here. Let's go ahead and use the polygon tool to just clean up in there. This is pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and erase that up. That's a nice selection right here. Now we have the main image and then we have Kino. Lay these up a little bit. Transfer this, make this like head on. Want the car upright a little bit and then maybe a little bit bigger so it can cover up the phone. And then take over this side of him. Maybe bring it down just a little bit. Bring it smaller in just a little bit. We could do it like that, but I feel like for me, it's just unbalanced. Now that it's taking it back like this, I do want this to be like straight across. What I'm gonna do is create the rectangle tool again. And at the end point right here, where it's like cut off, we're just gonna go straight across and we're just gonna erase all that too. It's equal. Now we have our main piece right here. Now there's two ways that we can go about it. We can keep this guy big, or we can make him here like that. And then we could fill this in with like cityscapes. For me, I like it like this. We're just gonna keep it like that. And then we're gonna put like some text or something right here. I got this city here. I like how it focuses on the middle here. We'll name this city 1. And I like how the city is plain a little bit, like the ground is plain. It gives me enough time to like do some text and stuff in here. And it still shows like the city in the background type of vibe. That's clean right there. I like how we going with that. So let's turn the city off for a second. Let's turn this background to black. I know y'all probably say like, oh, if you probably watched my tutorials for a long time, you probably be like, damn, she always using black. But I just like feel like black is like the best color for real to like create contrasty gradient maps. Like lighting works better on black. Using white, if you see people using white, like they really nice, because like creating designs using white space is very difficult. Most covers that you see are black based or dark base or contrasty like that. It's really hard. So the main thing we need to start working on is adjusting the colors. These two match at least. How do we do that? Go into our main layer. Let's go ahead, double click on this. We're gonna bring up this camera raw filter, really sharp image that I took right here. And we're just gonna make a few adjustments, man. We're gonna first get on there, this texture, add a little bit of clarity into there. Bring down this highlights just a little bit, because highlights going crazy right now. Make it a little bit darker. I like how you can control the darkness here. You're gonna go ahead and sharpen it up just a little bit. And then you really don't want to play with the colors too much in here and nothing like that, because you can make all those adjustments on your own. I feel like we need to add it so it's a little bit smooth. Let's go ahead and duplicate that. Convert to a smart object. Go to filter, neural filters. Go to skin smoothing. Click on here. And then up the smoothness. Blur and make sure it's as smooth as possible. Press OK. As you can see here now, the skin has been smoothed out. This is the original. Now it's smooth. Original. Now it's smooth. And then we're gonna just go ahead and rasterize this layer. Normally you don't want to, but we're just making adjustments in here. We're gonna name this skin smoothing. We're gonna create a mask on this. Invert this mask. We just want to smooth out certain parts. So white on black, and then just paint that face back in. Get that face back on it. With, out, with, without, with. It gives you just enough like smoothness in it. And then you don't have to do this, but we're just gonna create a clipping mask to show some skin smoothness on this. We're gonna duplicate this layer again, bring this on top. Now we're gonna go to filter, stylize, oil paint. You probably haven't seen me do this too much. Make sure your lighting is off. Bristle detail could be at 0. I just want to play with these settings until you get one that you want. Cleanliness gives you like this Bristol-like effect. The more stylized the paintier is gonna look. You want to find a good balance between, and you're really only gonna mess with the brush and then the cleanliness. The cleanliness is, as you can see, the sharpness of everything. Cleanliness can be at 0. Rock with what I got. 8.5, 5.8, 0, 0. And you don't want to turn the lighting on, because now you start getting stuff like that and that looks ugly. We just want really this. You're gonna use this, create a clipping mask, and then create a smart object. Then you want to make a layer mask on this, invert it, and now we're gonna just start slightly painting in his skin back. Probably want to just turn that opacity down low. The flow can be back at where it was at. but just slightly, like, because you just want to bring back a little bit of detail, nothing too crazy, to give it like that digital painted look. When other people do digital paintings, they literally go in for hours and hours, going in every detail. For us, we don't have that much time. Right now, I'm just gonna go in here with my pen and just bring back some details, slight, like on the face, stuff like that. Follow the contours of the line that's already there. Bring back that skin a little bit. There we go. And see how the skin is very, very smooth? It's a smooth painted type of vibe that we got. And it's clean in there. There's nothing too crazy going on. We can even get into the hat. It's not so sharp. Give it like that softness. Go ahead and do that for the whole thing. That's calm. So now we got to get this to kind of match this a little bit. For the Kino 1, we can go ahead and collapse this and create a group. We're just going to call this Kino 2. This is the smaller one. Double click on Kino 1. Let's go ahead and filter, camera raw filter. That'll bring up the image. We kind of want the same settings. We're just going to boost up the texture a little bit. Clarity, just a wad. And then we got to bring those colors down because he is too bright. Bring the lights down. Bring the highlights down into a pretty good space. Let's get the darkness popping. Boost up the shadows just a little bit. There we go. Color mixer, I want to bring the saturation down a little bit. Go up there, bring the saturation down just a little bit. It's a little bit too bright for me. And his face, it's a lot of red. I want to just boost this over here to the yellow. If I go like here, the reds is going to be mostly yellow. If I start moving it over here, it'll be like more orangey based on the colors that I want to. Until we get a nice, good base for his face. Cool. I'll probably mess with the luminance a little bit only because the other one, you can make something with that. I'm telling y'all, y'all got to get creative. Drop the luminance down a little bit. Same with this. And then lastly, let's go into detail. Add that noise. All them changes that we just made with the other Kino joint, we don't have to do that with this because we could just use detail. And you just want to boost detail. And then we want to go ahead and color mixer, sharpen just a little bit because it's already got a lot. We're going to boost that noise reduction all the way up to make it as smooth as possible. Press OK. It's gonna make these changes. You're gonna convert that to a smart object and then you're gonna do it again. Camera raw filter is gonna give you a fresh one. Zoom into the face and then you're just gonna do it again. Go down to detail and boost the noise all the way up. The skin is really, really smooth. I just showed you a few ways that you can do it. Doing the oil paint method, you can do sharpen method, or you can do the skin smoothing method using the neural filters. But either way, right click and create a clipping mask. This is before, this is after. Before, after. You see how everything is pretty smooth? Then we're gonna add a layer mask onto this and then go ahead and invert that. And we're just pretty much gonna do what we just did with the other one. Just go ahead and paint on. Make sure everything is nice and smooth, man. Make everything nice and smooth. Especially in the clothes. The clothes and everything, you can just go hard on the clothes. The hoodie, make the hoodie nice and smooth. You don't really have to worry about the hoodie too much inside the hoodie. Now we're getting into the face. We want a nice soft brush. Bring down this opacity a little bit. We're gonna use my brush. I'm gonna just brush into the face till we get a nice smooth tone. If you need to, boost up the opacity, play around multiple times, see what's good. That's a little bit too strong. I need something right in the middle. And get in there and get in that face, man. Make that face nice and smooth. And just kind of follow the contour of the face, just like before. Make sure you get this nose. Keep the face. I'm not even mad at that. And if you wanted to, you can still add the filter, stylize, oil paint filter, and still add the filter, and I'll keep in the same effects that we just had it, and just press OK. And then if anything is like too strong for you, go ahead and take the black, drop that opacity all the way to like low, like 17%, and then just start painting in on the layer to bring back some of that detail. Bringing things back, but everything else looks pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. So now we have that. It didn't need too many changes. Let's go ahead and collapse that into another group, call that Kino 1. Turn on Kino 2. We getting somewhere, y'all. We are getting somewhere. I already know my text is gonna be here at the bottom. Let's start getting in the cityscape, see what we can do with this. The city's pretty fire with the clouds. I like how it's like in the middle. Maybe if I stretch it out though, we can get rid of this second thing and it can just be like it's coming up. But I like how it has it. It looks like it's coming in to the city. Like part of me wants to keep it like this too though. The city and the car. But I want the perspective of the car like this though. We're just gonna rock with that. We're gonna make some adjustments to the colors and stuff, obviously in the background, but for the most part, everything looks pretty good. There's some lighting coming in from over here, so we're probably gonna have some light hitting on here, have some light hitting on this left side of him, and then that's really it on this one. We're not really gonna do too much. I don't wanna like take up all the time. I just wanna show you guys how to cut out certain things. I just showed you how to cut out. I showed you 2 different ways how to smooth it. You see me double up on this one. You see me use neural filters on this one. You see me adjust the colors for both so they match, because before this one had like a greenish tone to it. Let's go ahead and make some adjustments to the background. We're gonna go ahead and use an adjustment layer. First, let's go ahead and use black and white layer. Everything is balanced. We're gonna add a gradient map to the back. Now you can use the gradient map or you can use black and white. It's up to you. As you can see, it gives you 2 different ones. Me, I'm gonna do gradient map because I like the black and white, like how everything maps to it. It's giving me the colors that I want. We're just gonna rock with that. A gradient map set to black and white. Then we're gonna add another gradient map on top of that to start giving us our orange vibes. Maybe I go sunset gradients. Let's see what you always gotta go check first. See if yours will hit like it's supposed to. I want to go for orange and blue hues throughout this. Something similar to this. Let's see if it works. And let's see what happens if I use the dark set of the blending modes. Multiply. Giving in the darkening didn't work too well. Let's go to the contrast layer of it. Overlay. Soft light. Hard light. Vivid light. Color works amazing. Color is looking really good. I'm liking how color is mapping to everything, giving everything a nice distinct color. Now that orange isn't as orange as I would have hoped, but the blues and the blacks are definitely hitting right. I've decided I want to do red instead because I feel like I use blues and oranges a lot, and that's so easy to just default to. We're gonna play around now. This time we're gonna get groovy and we're gonna try to get into them reds. See if we can get that same effect using some red colors. Blues, as you can see, map very well to blacks. This is pretty good. Maybe we could add a black on there. Yeah. When you add black, you could add black or you could add like a gray. As you can see, the gray works a little bit different in there, but if you use black, it's like really smooth. But if you use gray, it's slight up in here that you can see it. If you use black, it's a gray gradient that happens right here. But if you use a lighter color, it just gives it like least separation. We're gonna just add like a gray in here. And then we all gonna bump it because you want that separation from the sky. I kind of like this. I like how the yellows are hitting. The yellows are a little bit too bright for me, but we can go ahead and adjust that by creating a curves layer and then just bringing down the highlights. You see how when it's up at full pass, we have all the highlights. If we bring it down, there is no highlights, but we're gonna slowly add the highlights back in. to give it a bump. We're gonna keep it like right around here. We're gonna add another point on there, add some curve to it, add another curve, and drop down the blacks again. We're gonna go ahead and clip mask this, create a clipping mask and clip mask everything, and we're gonna select the background, and then we're gonna name this background. Go ahead and save that. Now we're pretty good. I feel like the orange matches better with the facial tones and stuff instead of trying to force that blue and orange vibe. Now we're getting somewhere. I feel like we should start adding a little bit of highlights around him. For this one, I'm not gonna add a bunch of like stuff into the background. I just wanna show you guys another way of doing this because I'm gonna probably add a gradient around there and then mess with the text at the bottom. But for some reason, the background and the Kino layers, they feel too like separate. They don't seem aligned for real. They don't seem like they have the same color balance overall, but we're gonna fix that in the end. For Kino 1, let's work on the Kino 1 layer. Let's turn Kino 2 off. Let's go ahead and start painting in some highlights and things. You're gonna open this layer up, click an adjustment layer. Now this can work for a hue and saturation layer, anything, or a solid color layer. I just like picking solid color because I can pick the exact color that I want. I'm just gonna go solid color, press OK, create a clipping mask. Now this clips to this. Double click on this, pick a color. We're just gonna pick an orange from the brightest object that would be making a highlight. You feel me? You could do this one too, but this one might work better. Let's try both. We can try either or. Now with this, I kind of just want to keep it how it is. You can do linear dodge, so it can give you like a lighter type of color. As you can see, color dodge works too. We're gonna just rock with the color dodge. Set this layer to color dodge. Gonna go ahead and invert this. Now you want to get your pen again. I'm gonna use this pen highlight I have called the highlight pen. I just make a lot of highlights with this. My highlight pen, 0 hardness. Set to 4141 with 10 smoothing, and this is turned on because I have the brush layer. Find a brush that works for what you're trying to do. It will be a lot of playing around with it. For flow, I already know my flow. I gotta bring my flow down. I probably boost my opacity up to like 50%. And now we're just gonna do the strong highlights using the brush tool. Go ahead and zoom in on that bad boy too. Turn on Kino just so I know where to start working from right here. I'm gonna speed past this part because all I'm gonna do is keep just going over. And if you don't like what you did, press X and then paint back over it. Adjust the directions that you want it to go. Get in there, man. Nice strong line. Now you press R, reset the view. You can zoom out. That's giving me a nice original base for my highlights. I really like how the oranges is hitting off there, bruh. We're gonna duplicate this layer, set it to create that mask. We're gonna delete this mask, create a new one, invert it. Now we wanna do a few highlights throughout the face area, throughout some of the textures of the body. Now we can probably adjust the direction. Give it something like this. The opacity is at 100. We could drop that flow down to like really low, like 10. Because since we're doing a lot of details in the arms and the face area, that we don't want too much going on. Make this a little bit smaller. And now just start making the adjustments that you would like in the face. You could change this back to like normal just for now. The hood would be covering up because this would be hit. What would be getting highlighted is probably a little bit of the glasses. I said this is very, very faint. The hardness of the brush, I'm pushing this up to 50%, adding a little bit of highlights in different areas. Wherever you want some details, go ahead and add those details in using the pen right here, because I don't want to go too crazy. More or less in the shirt, it'd be hitting off of like here, and you can use your pen to go ahead and just nice and smooth, you know? You probably see these a lot, different highlights, but it's all about practicing the shading, man. Following the colors, creating texture. Make sure you do a nice smooth motion. Hoodie, same thing, right there on top. And this is where you're getting that cool look from. Now we gotta go in and add rim lights into this. The flow is fine. You could take the flow down to 10 or like 9, 10. It's up to you. Let's go ahead and add some dodge and burning into this. I'll show you how to do it multiple ways. It's multiple ways to do this. You can use a curves layer. You can use that gray layer that I showed you before in the previous one. For this one this time, let me show you a different way to do it. We're gonna go curves. Create that clipping mask for the curves. And you're gonna bring down the blacks. And you want to get it to a point where it looks good in the black areas that you want to affect. That gives me a good darkness overall, but it's changing the colors of my character, and I don't want that. We're going to set this layer to luminosity. You're not going to see me use this too much, but certain instances you need it. We're going to go ahead and invert that. Press enter, save. And now let's start adding in some burn. We can set the flow to 70. Make sure it's set the softness. Now we're just gonna paint in, bring back some of that detail. Within our image. Let's turn this flow down a little bit to like 10%. See if we can, yeah, that's a little bit better. Open this up. And you really just want to go back over parts that is going to bring the detail back into the jacket. Right here could be really light. You don't got to bring in too much, but mostly here, we're going to bring this darkness back right up in here. Same thing in the face. Bring back some of the details under the nose, on top. Here we go. Get up in here in the hoodie. The hoodie would be mighty dark. There we go. Now we got to create another curves layer. Clip mask this. We're going to just boost them highlights a little bit. What we would want, which is in the facial area here. Convert that one. Same thing. Get up in them highlights and then follow the contour of the face too. Don't just go against the face. The light would hit over here a little bit. You would have a little bit of highlighting on the shirt. You painting back in where you want your highlights and where you want the shadows. And now we're painting. And you can do this for the whole piece if you want to too. I'm gonna speed this up a little bit. And then with this one, you can actually bring down the opacity on these things. It's there, but it's not there, but you have full control over how much. You just want to bring back a little bit of the light. I think that looks good. We still have to add a little bit of rim light on there, but this is pretty good. We added the curves layer, used the color fills. We created a nice smoothness effect on it. That's pretty cool. Now for this color fill, we're gonna go ahead and duplicate this layer and bring it into this one because we're gonna have to use it in a second. We're gonna turn this Kino layer off for a second. Turn this one on. As you can see, it literally has the outline of the one that we already had. Go ahead and create a clipping mask. Delete this mask. This is pretty good. I like it. Let's go ahead and create another mask for this. Invert that mask. And now let's start painting the highlights around Kino. Same thing that we just did. Now we don't have to do it twice. So I'm gonna just speed this part up just so you can see and pay attention to my brush work. See how I'm pulling back and you got the pull back coming. That's a nice strong highlight around everything. Once again, we're still gonna have to go in there and add our own rim lights, but we're gonna do rim lights in a second. So that's the main highlight. Let's go ahead and add in that curves layer. Same thing, set that to clipping mask. This is our darkest layer. We're just gonna bring the darkness down a little bit in different areas. Set that to luminosity, just like we just did. Invert that. Let's go ahead and start painting in. Now the opacity, I'm gonna bring the opacity on this to 50 and then turn that flow all the way up. And let's start giving it some character. It's gonna be dark on this side of his face because the light is coming from the right for the most part. Get up in there, getting them shadows. Remember, you're painting exactly what you wanna see. The jacket, you really can't see too much. It's not like the other shirt where it's like hella details. Just get into the arms, get into the hands, do the right side of the hand. Let's have that side for highlights. Nothing too crazy here. Let's go ahead and create that other curves layer. This is the curves layer we're gonna bump up. Create a clipping mask. Gonna go ahead and invert that. Same thing, we're gonna just slightly paint. Turn this opacity marker on. If I push harder, more will come out, but if I do a slight light, it'll be very, very light on the face. But you're painting in the face, like you're contouring the face. And even back on the curves layer, we can go ahead and paint in some of these blacks again. Like the front of the grill, the whole thing, bring all them shadows back. For this layer here, which is the lighting layer, we're gonna go to select, filter, blur, Gaussian blur. And then you're just gonna blur it so it smooths it out a little bit so it's not as harsh. Save. Now we got Keynote 1, Keynote 2 with nice strong highlights. For Keynote 1, we need to go ahead and add the rim light. And for the rim light, what we're gonna do is go ahead and just use the color dots layer and duplicate that. Bring that back on top of everything. Delete the layer mask. And as you can see, it looks off kilter right now. But we're gonna go ahead and go to linear dodge and make it just a regular dodge. And go to linear dodge, double click on it. And then we're gonna use this right here. Sometimes you can use this side. That's gonna adjust how the whites are affecting it. We see like how it affects it is a little bit different. Press Alt, drag it out. It's a little bit a smoother adjustment. Press OK. I like this. Linear dodge is a little bit too light for me. So we're gonna go and just stick with color dodge. I think color dodge just works best with this one. Make sure you create a clipping mask, and then we're gonna add a layer mask onto this. Go ahead and invert this. And now with our opacity at 100, we're gonna bring our flow down, very down, 5%. And now we're just gonna start painting in where we want those highlights. And you gotta paint a few times, but you are in control. If you feel like it needs more, go over it a few times. That's why the flow is set to 5, so you can go over the flow a few different times. At the top here, a little bit, get a little crazy, a little harder. Follow this. It's kind of giving you like kind of where the highlights and everything is already. It was already a line right there. All I'm doing is painting on the line, giving it some rim lighting. Nothing too crazy. You're just gonna go back over that a little bit. Add some more detail to it. Now, go back over it. Press R, reset the view, save it, zoom out. Look at that. First, and now that adds a lot of extra lighting on there. Fire. I wouldn't add too much into the face only because if we disable the layer mask, oh no, it is some whiting. This is what you want. You want these highlights in there. You don't want it dark. Enable this mask and we're gonna go back in there, go in there, and we're gonna add some highlights and stuff to the face. None too crazy though. Make it small. And now for this one, we're gonna just use a regular soft brush. We'll turn this back on, turn this on. That flow was at 5. Smoothing back at 10. Getting in some of these highlights on the nose a little bit. Everything that we just did on this one, we're gonna do those same things on this one. Nothing has changed. Just duplicate this, drag this up, put in the second one. This one, delete the layer mask. As you can see, it's hitting. Double click on it. It still has those layers on there. Let's bring back some of those colors that affects the jacket a little bit better. That's cool. Linear dodge works. See if the other ones work. Color dodge, cool. Create a clipping mask. Mask, invert. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and start brushing away. Go ahead and flatten that thing back up. That's calm right there. Not even mad at that. So I can put the brush away because that's the only like highlighting and details we're pretty much gonna do with that. Go ahead, double click on the main layer where we're making all the effects too. And we can even add an inner glow in here to give it like a stronger glow around the edge by picking one of the colors. Do the size, turn the size up, turn the range up. The choke shouldn't be that hard, pause. Linear dodge. And then do the size up a little bit. The choke should be at 0, linear dodge, and then you could just add a little bit of noise in there. We're just gonna add a little bit in there to add a little bit of highlighting. 40%, inner glow, we're calm with that. That is cool. For Kino, we might need to do the same thing. Double click on the main layer, go to inner glow. It'll give you the settings that we just had, 40 on the opacity, 0 choke, 40 size, range. This is coming together. Now we gotta add a little bit of separation in between these two. Let's go ahead and create a new layer. Use the brush. We can go ahead and use a regular soft brush. We're gonna make it black, and then we're just gonna paint in a few times to give it some separation. And I put the flow down still at 10% because I just want to paint over it a few times just to give it a natural separation between the car, him, you know? As far as the background, we don't need too much. We're gonna name this shadow. I can't complain about this. Highlights is cool, everything is cool. So now we need to start adding, let's drop a gradient in there. We kind of want it black because we wanted to come in from the bottom. So it's gonna be like that, but I still want to be able to see the street. I just want to be able to erase some of Kino's thing, but since he has a map on him, we're gonna have to convert this to a smart object. Then we can still go back in here and make any changes that we need to make to him. But we need to add a layer mask to this. And this is what I mean by having smart objects, smart layers, groups, undestructive editing, because some things you can only do if you don't have it. Right now we have a layer mask on there, and we're just gonna slowly paint away the bottom half because I want it to disappear. I want it to be flowing into the bottom of the ground. Something like that. Because we're gonna put some words right there. On top of all this, let's create a new layer. Let's create a color from what's already on here. Let's try to pick the lightest one. We're gonna go ahead and use our brush at like 40%. We're gonna set this brush to linear dodge, and we're just gonna start painting on, giving it some highlights throughout from the background. I wanna do it based on where the colors are in the background. Sometimes if we would have went like this earlier, then this part would have been shining more than over here. But since the light we said was already coming from over here, we're not gonna mess with that too much. We're just gonna paint in the light over on this side here. And there's really no light coming from the back. This is pretty good right here because all the light is pretty much coming from the ground area. Save this, name this glow 1. Now this is pretty good. Now add another set of glows. Another layer, you could swap your layers back to the original. You're gonna change the layer to white. I have a set of bling brushes. I'll provide you with a set of bling brushes to use. And this you're just gonna add to the parts that's shining. Turn the opacity back up to 100 and you're just gonna paint on that. And then I will set this to linear dodge as well. And it's only part of the glasses that's really gonna shine. You don't want it too harsh, just barely there on the car. Let's try to add like a light coming from this car right here. Let's go ahead and add a new layer from here. Make it like a triangle where the light would hit. Like that. This is a layer. And then what we're gonna do is create a new adjustment layer. We're gonna create a gradient. Go to this paint bucket tool, go to gradient tool, and then you're just gonna go back to the basics. White to transparent, and then pretty much just follow this. Just grab it from where it's inside the selection, and it's gonna create like a fall off, which is pretty good. This is cool right here. On the layer mask, you're gonna go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur to soften it up. It's too harsh. I want it to look like a light, but strong enough. Something like that. 24:9 is pretty good. And then you can even set this to like lighten or screen. I'm actually gonna go linear dodge with this. It would light up from him on the back on the card too. We're gonna create one more layer. White. Go back to our soft brush. Set that to linear dodge. And then just, oops. Paint that underneath the Kino 1 layer because it was behind him. There we go. Just to give it a little bit of lighting. So let's get some of these words on here just so we can stop taking up all the space. I said the main thing is gonna be the words be cool. Most of the time you wouldn't need a text or anything like that, but for this particular one, we are gonna have to use some text. Type in be cool. It's a hip hop song, so we definitely wanna be in that bold range. Yeah, I like that. Compactor, be cool. The only thing is it's not taking up the whole line. To be honest, we don't even need this back shadow no more. Pull it out a little bit, make it bigger. That's calm right here. And now for me, I'm just gonna use a style because I don't feel like sitting here making nothing specifically for this. And this makes your stuff so much easier and so much quicker by using your assets that you already have to give you a strong base. Let's look over some of these settings that have been made, okay? So for the bevel and emboss, just go ahead and copy these adjustments. There we go. The stroke settings. Copy the satin settings. Up the spread, up the size. And then we're gonna push this over here and we're gonna turn off global lighting. Then we could just adjust the sizing and the movement. And now as far as the color, I want a strong color. Right now it's black. I want a strong color that kind of like works with what we're already doing. Turn the color overlay off. Let's go ahead and add a gradient overlay in there. Maybe just do something that's gonna match the rest of the theme. This orange to light orange is pretty good. If you want to get fancy, we could add a black in there. I don't think black would help us too much in this situation. And I feel like this one is a little bit too light. This one's a little bit too orangey. This one is just too much going on. That's not even orange at all. That's pink. We're gonna keep this orange to light orange. Even with the stroke, right now the stroke is like this silvery type of vibe. Let's go ahead and change the stroke color to another lighter color in there. It might give it like a gold type of look. This is the stroke now. I just changed the color that matched the be cool in there. And I want to kind of create a gradient going from the bottom to the top. Create a gradient. Swap out your colors. Make sure your colors are swapped. Now we're going to just add dither on there. Bring that scale down a lot. And then just bring it down. Turn it up so I can get some so I can kind of like match in with here. It's gonna evaporate the ground a little bit. This looks pretty cool. Now all we gotta do is bring down the opacity of it a little bit. It's not as harsh, but it's still there. That's dope. For me, it's something about these letters that's like distracting everything. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Maybe it should just be one color. I'm gonna go back in there in the gradient. And like I told you guys, I'm a professional, but like I'm not always perfect with my words and everything like that. Grab a color from inside. That's pretty cool. That's cool. This is the new color I chose. And for the stroke, I already had yellow, but maybe we go a little bit darker. I made it just a little bit darker. That's better with me though. Because I feel like before it was just too bright for some reason. And we'll type in Kino Piff in. And then for this top text, let's do like something that's complementary to that. Let's do another serif type of font. We're going to go with Managi. I think that's how you say it. Managi Roman. And then we're going to click the N for Piff and make it a subscript. Then we're going to take all of this and then kern it. It's farther away from each other, each letter. Then we're going to make the letter, everything smaller, and we're going to put that on top of be cool. Maybe instead of N, we'll say presents. Maybe the kern is a little bit too wide. Bring it in a little bit. Make everything smaller. Make sure everything fits on top of the cool. Maybe I make this a regular P. A regular P, you feel me? That's cool right there. I'm not mad at that. So over top of the background layer, what we need to do is make sure everything is set back to normal. create another gradient. We're gonna make this a radial gradient, and we're gonna reverse it. And now, as you can see, you can only see parts of the city and everything coming out. We want to scale that up a little bit, just so it's very, very light. You can even adjust the pen. It works a little bit more where you need it to be. It gives it a little bit more focus and everything towards the middle and the center of the image. Lastly, we have to do is add like a dope photo filter on top of this. We can even do a color balance. The color balance if we want to make things more blue, if we want to make the reds more red through the whole thing in here. Did the midtones to the 24 a little bit, and then you can play with the shadows, do the same thing with the shadows. Maybe the shadows a little bit more yellow, instead of blue. That's straight. I'm gonna throw like a nice little gradient map on it. It's gonna give me a black and white gradient map. And with this, you can go ahead and adjust, darken, overlay. Me, I always try to throw it overlay only because it gives you very, very dark darks. I do soft light too. And then I just bring down the opacity a little bit just to give back some of the texture that I lost in some of the pieces. If you need to adjust the gradient map on this to scale a little bit more, go ahead. That's pretty dope right there. I've showed you a few different ways of how to manipulate your typography. I just want to show you a few different ways. Most of the times you're not even going to add typography, but in case in the instance that you do, a lot of people don't even add the parental advisory on there anymore. But I do have a set. I have a parental advisory sticker from my Only Dope media pack. Go ahead and invert that. Make this smaller. Very, very small. We're just gonna put this over here on the left-hand corner. It's shining light. The light is shining on the parental advisory here in the corner. I feel like it's just missing a little something as far as texture. Smoke aspect right here for the full thing to just give it some overall texture. Mine's is blue. Go to image, adjustments, make it just black and white. And then where it's blue at, just make sure the blues is blue. Bring those highlights up a little bit. You want to try to bring it back up underneath everything besides the two people. Now it's underneath everything. Let's go ahead and add a screen to it. Behind Kino, behind the shadow, behind the gradient. The gradient is the main thing that you want to make it, because this gradient is the circular gradient. Let me type that in, circle gradient. Car light. And the smoke just gives it a whole new level. You can do lighting, screen, as you can see how it affects everything. Color dodge just give you like that smoky atmosphere. Linear dodge gives you very, very strong. But I like how it is when it's set to screen. Drop the opacity down a little bit. And I kind of like how the smoke is just working in this area right here on top of his head over here. The smoke over here is kind of losing me at the top. What we're going to do is add a layer mask to this. And then we're just going to just slowly erase this. Drop the flow down a little bit. But it's there still. I feel like that is a lot of layers for this particular cover art. But this is just another way of going about it. And then lastly, if you just want to add some texture to it, go ahead and press Shift F5. Click this context box, fill it with 50% gray. Go to filter, noise, add noise. We're gonna go monochromatic. We don't want to add too much into it. And you could do 13. 13 is fine. Gaussian, I did Gaussian. You could do overlay, soft light, overlay, soft light, overlay, soft light. We're gonna go overlay because I like the details it gives within the face. And then we're gonna just drop this opacity down. 80%. This is cool right here. And this is what I'm gonna give you guys. This is the file that you get that you're gonna work out of. We have the copy and then we have the original. We still have the original. This is what your guys is getting. I'm working out of the copy, and out of the copy, I'm gonna leave the noise as it is. Take everything else, convert it, and merge these layers. And you rarely ever wanna do this because you always wanna be able to go back. You can do that merge layer, or you can go to convert to smart object. And then this way you can still be able to go back and edit, fix any text, fix any images and stuff. It's just, I never try to do that with this because sometimes some of the things just don't work well with some of the other elements. For instance, this isn't working well, but everything else is cool. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna do is just merge them. Merge these layers. You can merge them, you can flatten your image, do whatever you need to do. And then since it doesn't matter anymore, go to filter, camera raw filter. And if you want to adjust the overall clarity of the image, you can go ahead and refine and retouch it like this. Get the texture right. This is only after they approve it. Like, oh no, it's good. I'm like, cool, I'm just make my final adjustments or give them some fluke story like that. Go ahead and add that dehaze in there. Drop the darkness in there. This is pretty cool right here. See how I add some more effects to it? Go to filter, lens correction, go to custom. And this is where you're gonna add, like, if you like RGB chromatic vibe, this is if you like that. And you can see very lightly that the chromatic aberration is there, like very slightly, but you don't want it too much. You just want them to be able to see that it is there. Maybe we add a little bit of yellow in there, since most of our graphic is yellow. You can see it, but it's very slight. And this is finished piece. You can go from 0 to hero, I'm telling you guys. So slowly but surely, we're gonna start putting these together, man. All right, so we just finalized another cover art. I feel like it came out pretty dope. Like I said, I just wanna show you a few techniques, a few different ways of going about the cover art. Sometimes it's simple, sometimes it's complex, sometimes it's a collage, sometimes it's grunge. I wanna go through a bunch of different styles like I already explained, showing you through this course and through the complimentary walkthrough tutorials that I have. But anyways, the final piece for this is preparing your files correctly for different formats is very crucial. Whether the cover art is going to be used digitally online, most of the time it is. You really don't have to do too much, but sometimes they want to print it. You just have to know the differences between CMYK, RGB. For the digital formats, you pretty much always save in a high resolution file, which is a PNG all the time. I always save everything in PNG. It's just easier to work with. Second would be JPEG. I feel like that's just the default. Everybody goes, but JPEG is getting like way in the dust. And the last one is going to be this new format called WebP. You might have seen it sometimes when you download files. The WebP version pops up. The WebP version is simply a PNG, but you can't just drag and drop it into any program. You have to convert it. And then sometimes when people steal in graphics or steal in photos, they don't want people stealing it, but there is ways to convert WebP files. And then if you're doing print format, you're pretty much going to be doing PDFs and TIFFs. Sometimes JPEGs, but most of the time you're gonna save it in a PDF format or a TIFF format using the CMYK color. And it just means it won't look exactly like it looks like on the computer. Let's go ahead and save this up. File, you can either export it, save for web, export as PNG. And these are pretty much the only settings that you're gonna have. Let's go to save for web. I always kind of use this one because it gives you the most options. And it's gonna show you a preview of what you're saving. You're gonna go to transparency. You just want to include the transparency in case it was a non-transparent background. Like say you just had words and you just wanted just the words, you would save that. But since we have a whole thing, we're just gonna go PNG 24. And then I really don't touch any of these settings. Sometimes you can convert it to RGB, but I don't really see no differences really in the color when I do that. But I pretty much just keep these settings and I just go ahead and save it. I go ahead and file. You can go file, export as, and you could just go up here and then save it and it won't give you all those suggestions. File, export as. Those same options that we just had is just another way to do it. If you have multiple things that you need to save, you could do that. JPEG, PNG. If you have a GIF, you can make certain videos and stuff within Photoshop. That's for a whole nother boot camp, y'all. But you can go ahead and add this. You can add your copyright info if you want. I really don't mess with that too much. Save as. This will you go ahead and get the selections to save it as another Photoshop document or a PDF or a TIFF. And if you wanted to save it for online, This is where you would save it as a PDF or a TIFF. That's where that's at. It's like I said, it's 100 ways to do the same thing. Say the client just wants the text alone. You can go over here, go to your filter, and then just go to the text part. I would take everything off, turn everything off, everything. And then only turn on the Word and the Keynote part. And then File, Export, Save for Web under PNG. And as you can see, you see a checkerboard background. But if you move over, you'll have your image. And if you save it, it'll save with no background. That's why you see the checkerboard background. Okay. Just want to show you guys that.